Sip Away. I am Nicholas, and together with my co-host
Inga?
we are here to talk about everything and nothing. Fill you in, we are just two friends kind of hanging out in our living room. Was thinking we talk all the time, so why not record it and try to get you to listen as well if you kind of want to and enjoy.
I'm thinking about the first moment when we started talking about creating this space. And I remember the first idea was just the idea for us, kind of me being completely foreigner and you being mixed, half Greek, half Swedish, to have some space to vent about the Swedish life. But after we had a discussion, we kind of figured out that we can talk about so many things and so many funny subjects, and it's actually brings us joy.
Exactly. So kind of like setting the picture, we are right now in Sweden. I am half Swedish, half Greek. I've lived both in Sweden and in Greece. Inga is from Poland, and we originally had the idea of kind of do a podcast based on moving to Sweden and meeting people in Sweden. And after a bit of back and forth, we kind of thought it's much more fun to just talk about everyday life and everyday conversations, and that's kind of how we ended up here. So I'm sorry already, this podcast doesn't really have a clear line or a template or anything. It's mostly gonna be us talking about everything and nothing in that way, which is also kind of the charm of it, I would say.
Yeah, but I like it more in the sense that, like, sometimes you have just the comforting shows or podcasts that you put in the background and you listen to them or watch them not because they're giving that much impact or whatsoever. They just make you feel good. So I would wanted people to listen to us because we make them feel good.
Exactly. Hopefully, like our everyday problems or struggles or just random thought and discussions will just resonate with you too. It's not going to be anything complicated or very specific. I think I personally work in IT, so maybe something will be a little bit more tech, but otherwise, I don't think I really specialize in anything that way.
Yeah, currently I'm unemployed, so don't count me on any specific work type of information. But I think it would be nice to talk a little bit about us. Like, if you can say a few sentences, describe yourself, like when you start new job or you started new school and the teacher or like a HR.
That is fair. I mean, as previously mentioned, I'm half Swedish, half Greek. I'm currently living in Gothenburg, so in Sweden. I also work with IT, and I really love photographies, videos, cameras, and everything that pretty much has to do with creativity. That's kind of how I went into start thinking about podcast and creating something that tells a story as well. So I guess that's a very basic presentation of me, but if you stick around, you will hear more later on and in further episodes. But tell us a little bit about you.
Can I use my old Tinder bio? Because I think it was great.
Of course.
So I'm Inga. As we mentioned before, I'm from Poland, which makes me lost in translation 90% of the time. I really like movies. My side hobby is giving letterbox reviews. And I'm addicted to Spotify, more or less education while or like occupation while. I'm a psychology graduate. I used to work for transport and logistics, so it's everything and anything. I'm a just young adult trying to figure it out things for myself.
Yeah, so you heard it here first. If you want your Spotify judged, just send it in and we'll make that a segment. Also, as the name of the podcast is Sip Away, I probably should have mentioned that in the beginning, but feel free, take a beverage and enjoy. This is all about relaxing and listening and don't really thinking. It should be the time when you have to relax or just put it on in the background.
So, what are you drinking right now?
I myself always love a good coffee, so I just made myself a cappuccino just before starting this recording. And how about you?
I'm also drinking a coffee, thanks to you and your cute little coffee machine.
So, sitting here doing this podcast has kind of been a longer project than someone may imagine. It has gone through many iterations, many tries, and you always have different ideas, and sometimes you kind of go record something, you go out there, you're like, I've done it, this is what I want to put out there, kind of don't do the editing right away, come back to it a few weeks later, and then you kind of second guessing yourself. But I think a good thing is to always try, otherwise we wouldn't be here right now. So yeah, be patient with us, this is just going to be a bit of a trial and error project, and feel free to give any feedback or suggestions. Like we said, this is not the set format in any set way or form. It's just a fun little conversation and something we felt like we wanted to record and share with you guys.
You know what's always surprised me? Like, I was expecting this to be much easier. You know, like, how hard is it to sit in the front of the mic and talk? And we are always constantly talking. Talking part is it's fine, but I think it takes a while for you to switch the mindset.
Just talking with your friend is very easy, right? It just comes natural, and that's kind of the fun part, and that's why you like to hang out with people. But as soon as you put two mics in the middle, you kind of stutter for a while and just freeze in place and be like, everyone is going to listen to this. I have to overthink everything I'm saying. So it takes some time to get used to, and then you just continue talking like everyday life. So I think that's going to be another common theme during this podcast as well. It's a lot of overthinking, a lot of topics that people likes to overthink. And if you overthink as well, please send us in your problems and tell us what you overthink about, and we can discuss them here all together and hopefully find a better solution or an answer to it.
Yeah, and I find it nice that like the balance of the conversations that we always have, because you have your own perspective. I can just have my girly girl moments being delusional, and we can combine the opinions together and find a healthy ground in the middle, which is fun.
Yeah, like nothing we say are right or wrong. We're just here to kind of give our perspective on things, and you will hear us disagree or agree depending on the topic as well, which I think is kind of the fun when you're talking with someone, not always agreeing, because then that is, that takes kind of the fun out of it. So, as we are in Sweden, you may have heard of a very famous Swedish store or brand called IKEA. And if you haven't, it's just a furniture store. But when you go there, it's kind of a journey each time.
It's a ritual. It's not even a journey. It's a ritual because there is a fixed order of fixing things on a trip.
And not just that, in every country they are so different. Like you go into this massive place, usually they have an upper floor, it's all like small little cute rooms that you wish you had, but I would never be able to put together by myself. And then you kind of go down to find the things, and you see it all comes in those flat boxes that for some reason they tell you need to have a friend to assemble as well. So not the best if you're alone, I guess.
The thing is, like, you usually have a friend before assembling it, and then you don't have a friend after.
Yeah, I guess there could be lead to a lot of arguments. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you screw in that? Hold there, I told you.
Okay, but let's be honest. How many times have you put the furniture from IKEA together and you had a bunch of stuff left? Because it happened to me so many times that I have like random screws that I don't know where they're supposed to go.
It's always something extra, always one little more thing, so you always have a drawer with all the extra IKEA screws and bits. To be honest, I always tend to count them before I start, because I don't want that to happen for me from all the posts I've seen.
Fair.
But IKEA, I think, is such an interesting place because it also kind of tells a lot about the different cultures and how they use IKEA, how you behave in stores. Like I remember when I was in Hong Kong and you went to IKEA, you would see people kind of often just sleep on the beds or the sofas in the store between the hours of work, which we never see here in Europe. So it's kind of not just a furniture store. It also tells a story about what the people do, how the people behave, and even you would see like the specials and so on will usually reflect that country in a way, which I think is very funny how just such a furniture store suddenly tells a whole cultural story.
Yeah, but my question is hot dogs, before or after?
I would say after, because it's kind of like what you're waiting for. You're kind of pushing through, getting through all these things, going through the whole warehouse and the store just to finally have a little hot dog before you leave.
Okay, but like if you're gonna have lunch in IKEA, would you first go to the restaurant, have the meatballs, then shop, and then get a hot dog afterwards, because that's how we would do it. Like, if obviously if you're not hungry, then you skip the restaurant and you just go through the lower floor. I tend to skip the upper floor with the set rooms or what's not, because for me it's like whatever. And then depends if I'm hungry. Before, I would grab the lunch beforehand, but like I would always top it up with a hot dog, even if I had a meal like an hour before.
I wouldn't say if I had the meal. It depends if you do a day of the IKEA. Then I would start at the first floor. That ends up at the restaurant. You will have lunch. You'll rest for a while, and then you would do the bottom floor and actually pick up the things you want. Or if you're just going in to grab a few things that you know you need, then you just directly go down, skip the upper floor completely, and then you skip the restaurant, so you don't have a meal, which means you're perfectly ready for a hot dog.
For a hot dog. Yeah, but hot dog is a must.
They are very good, but the thing is, even hot dogs are very different. Like, I could say the Swedish hot dog to the Greek hot dog doesn't taste the same at all. I would say the Swedish hot dog there is much, much better in this case. I don't know, how about the Polish one?
I think the standards are pretty similar. Would you say that generally food is bringing people together? Because I feel like sometimes when I'm angry, I'm not actually angry. I'm kind of like hungry because I'm hungry. So I'm angry because I'm hungry and I want some food. And then I will eat something. And food will make my life a bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I would say food is always bringing people together, and going out for dinner, lunch, a meal has always been something people do, and something I love to do as well. And you can also see it sometimes when you go like on holiday or vacation or just a day trip, how people can start becoming more angry at each other, kind of start fighting when they are hungry, and then they're like, yeah, just pick something for lunch. So I think food definitely plays a big part and making people interact more and meet new people. A little bit of a backstory here. The first time I met Inga at this event in Gothenburg called Meetup, pretty much like event for expats to meet other people that just arrived to the city. We kind of was talking, and we decided to start and do a bit of a dinner party in that way. Then started talking more in order to plan it and invite some more people, and that kind of started this whole friendship group. So food plays a big role in making people talk and communicate.
Yeah, I still remember the whole idea and my excitement, because through the years you would have some get together with friends, but mostly since like I've been studying and then I moved out of Poland directly after graduating, I would never had the opportunity to host like a big dinner party with a bunch of random friends when you cook food, and you don't only have like, let's say, chips or snacks and drinks. You have like a proper food and sit down, and you just kind of have a feast, and you can enjoy each other's company. So that was nice. That was a nice moment, because I remember we had a bunch of the dinner parties, and so many different people. It was a good experience. It showed me a lot in a way, and it, like, I know right now that I can host a dinner for 10 up to 15 people.
Exactly, and it's very fun. You have so many different ways you can do it. You can like pick a theme, you can pick a country, you can pick one dish each. You don't really have to have a plan. As long as you go with it, it always becomes fun and unique. And I would say like every dinner party is unique in that way. But talking about specific food, do you always have like a go-to food when you had like, oh, I'm going to invite people, I feel really comfortable doing this one dish?
I would say my go-to is some variation of a pastry with a French dough. Either way, it's gonna be like the small squares with tomato slice and mozzarella on the French dough, or the French dough with ham and cheese, kind of like a shaped like cinnamon buns, but instead of like cinnamon, obviously you have ham and cheese and ketchup. Because I know that it's super easy to make, and the risk of getting something wrong is super low. Obviously dumplings.
Of course.
Yeah. But dumplings is like a big adventure. At least for me, it's always like I have to plan it beforehand, because it's like 2-3 hours to make them.
It's also such an interesting food because the combinations are kind of endless. It's not like, oh, you do dumplings, you do one thing. You have so much room to experiment and try new flavor combinations, traditional ones, more new ones, which makes it kind of fun as well. Like you always have the room to do something different. So even if you do dumplings, you never do, or you don't have to do the same dumpling twice if you don't want to.
No, that's true. That's right. I think the most ambitious one that I have tried were the cheeseburger one. So basically, they had minced meat and red onion, cheddar, and some pickle, and they actually tasted like cheeseburger, just closed and in a small dumpling, which is cute.
That is very fun. And like for anyone that listens, feel free to tell us your favorite dishes you like to do. And even if you want to, leave a recipe behind in the comments and we may try to recreate it and post a picture of it.
Oh my god, that would be wild though. What is your type of food that you know you can make it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say if it's summer, I always like a good barbecue. Something on the grill always tastes good, very easy to do. It's also very social. If it's no barbecue time though, or the barbecue is not available, I really like to do meatballs filled with feta cheese and then do them in some kind of tomato sauce and serve them with like pasta. If I can, I always like a good barbecue. That's always fun, especially in the summer.
Whenever people are barbecuing and there's no one to host the barbecue or flip the burgers or whatsoever, I like to do it. I think it's my Polish side, which is funny because my dad was never that much into barbecuing. I think he discovered his barbecuing side quite late because he started doing like weekend barbecues in his mid 40s.
Yeah, I think it's not something you really so much discover by yourself. I think you kind of dragged into it when you start hanging out with someone that likes barbecuing and do it more often. Then you kind of become more and more curious. Like all the people I know that likes barbecuing, most of them have someone that have influenced them and been like, oh yeah, I used to barbecue with that person and that's why I love barbecuing.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of things like that. If you think about it, like there's a bunch of hobbies. Like we as people, we're just the puzzles of all the people we met through the lives, all the friends. And it's like sometimes I do something or I listen to something or I think about a book or movie and it reminds me about the person that introduced me to it.
Yeah, definitely. Something you get introduced to, that is very true. And I think that's kind of starting with friend groups as well, right? You're like, oh, I have a group of friends and then doing that. I want to try that as well. And then either you like it or not. You're much more likely, I think, to stick with something if you do it with fun company than if you do it by yourself.
Yeah, I feel like our friend group is that type of friend group that not only has clubs, but also phases. So some of the stuff we're doing is divided on phase. So, like I personally, I have a rap phase. So I have moments in my life when I eat like just...
Oh yeah, she literally tried to do raps with everything that existed from, I don't know,
meatballs,
chicken, meatballs,
chicken.
To
some roasted veggies, like
to all the pickled veggies, to you name it.
Yeah, because everything, like you can, the wrap is a perfect food because you can wrap whatever you want. You can have like a fish wrap or whatever, and it's gonna taste good.
Wraps are very good foods.
Yeah, and I know that like I introduced a bunch of my friends to wrap. I introduced our friend Sonia to it, and she's obsessed with wraps. My boyfriend also likes them, so it's just something that I'm bringing the people in.
We had actually just had lunch outside.
Yeah, the weather is lovely.
The weather is really nice. That kept me thinking, Inga. When you think about summer, what's the first smell that comes in your head? What does you smell and you think like, now it's summer?
It depends, because you know that my birthday are in May.
Yeah.
So when I think summer, the first smell that comes to my mind is lilac, because in May it's always getting hot and the lilac is blooming, and you can just... I know that for my birthday, 100% the lilac is gonna already be blooming. So that's one of the smells.
Yeah, I totally get you. For me, it's especially newly cut grass always feel like so summery. People like moving their lawns. You kind of feel like the fresh air of grass is in the air and this summer is coming. It's also bringing up my allergies, which is not the best thing. So that also reminds me it's summer.
Sad.
But it's like the one getting your first summer feelings. You're like, now we are in the good times. It's gonna be nice, warm.
Barbecue.
Barbecues.
Barbecue.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah. I mean, would you ever try to do your own vegetables and kind of try to have a small mini production if you had the space?
I would go for it. I've tried to grow some tomatoes 2 years ago. I got a plant from IKEA. I named it Thomas the tomato. The problem with Thomas was I totally forgot about it, and after 3 days, from being beautiful and green, it was kind of dry and brown.
But it's always fun naming plants. I've also tried doing some tomatoes with different variation of success, but you learn along the way. I learn you need to cut them down, not let them grow so much on height, because then they don't really give any of the right substances to the tomato itself.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
think it's kind of fun because you get better and better each year, and it's an interesting hobby.
Yeah, I think you have to just find a balance in it. I know the guy that has like chili plant that is 160. Like that the chili plant is huge, enormous, and he has it in an apartment. I don't know. I think if I would have like a nice balcony or space outside, I would try to grow my potatoes or zucchinis or strawberries and what's not.
Growing your own things could be very fun. I think it's interesting how we decide on which hobbies we like and when we like them, and how we all have different phases of trying things and then giving them up with various success. And sometimes it can be kind of hard to stick and doing one thing until we're really good at it.
Okay, my question is basically, did you ever had an offer from your parents to get you into some hobby or into something, and when you were like a teenager, young adult, you said no, it's lame, and right now you kind of think that, oh, that could be cool?
I don't say I would like necessarily have like an offer, oh, you should do this and this, but if I could go back today and maybe starting learning things at a younger age and be good at them, I would definitely love to have done more languages, some musical instrument or something. But it's always easy to go back and say I would have done that and that than when in the moment, right? But I think I did many different things. I think I'm happy with the outcome. How about you?
I was quite good. At the same time, there was one thing that I kind of regret. I think I was like 12 or 14, and my mom wanted to sign me up for a sailing camp. That was a 2 week summer camp, and you would end up the sailing camp with the sailing license. And I said, no, sailing is lame. I don't want to do it. And I don't, yeah. I ended up not doing it, and right now when I think about it, it would be kind of cool to have like a sailing license.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be. It also has to fit in when you're doing it. Because if you're trying to force someone to do something, they won't enjoy it and then they won't be good at it. And even if you have done it, if you didn't really want to do it at that moment, you may just end up hating it. So you never know the outcome either. But I agree with you. Sometimes it would be really cool to have done some of those niche and more interesting hobbies as a kid.
Yeah, and especially like I think as kids or teenagers, we are more brave. And right now, I wouldn't do half of the things that I did when I was teen years.
I mean, if I personally had to choose one thing, I wish I learned as a kid, because then you don't really think about it so much and you just go for it, would be skiing and downhill skiing, especially now living in Sweden and having so close to the mountain and the ski resorts. I wish I had done more skiing or learned how to ski when I was younger, because as older you get, the harder it is to learn, because you start fearing more as well and you're not really taking that leap of faith and you're kind of going slower and so on. So if I had to choose one, I think I would have loved to know how to ski. That would be mine. And talking about everything and nothing, I have a little interesting dilemma or question for you.
Okay, bring it on.
If you could just choose one of the two, right? You could either be always 10 minutes late or 20 minutes early. What would you go for and why?
10 minutes late. And that dilemma was already resolved by me because I'm always fucking late. Like, okay, most of the times I'm late. And my logic behind it is I hate waiting for people. And sometimes people are late. By being 10 minutes late, there's actually a chance that we're going to be on time, both of us.
True, but on the other hand, you're probably not ever being able to make like a flight or a train or boat.
Yeah.
Or like you will always kind of come in the middle of a concert or something,
Yeah, when it comes to stuff like that, I'm usually early because I hate to
Yeah.
miss
So I mean,
stuff.
I think that's kind of the dilemma, right? You always have to be one or the other. So you have to take the bad over the good in both situations.
Okay, then I would go for being 20 minutes earlier.
So you will be that person at the party, be knocking at the door
Oh
like
Jesus,
20
that's
minutes
also
before the
fucking
invitation.
annoying. Can we just have Can we just have something that is like best of both worlds?
And then it wouldn't be hard. And then we wouldn't discuss it here. Then people would just choose each and every situation.
I
That's
don't
why we have
know.
you on the mic here now, having to make a choice.
I don't know. Maybe it's more worth it to be 10 minutes late. Technically, Ryanair is mostly delayed.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Because I don't want to be that awkward person that like comes 20 minutes before the party started and the hosts have to stress what to do with me because I'm annoying.
That is fair. I think personally, I think I would go the other way around. I would always be 20 minutes early because I think I would stress too much if I knew I was always going to be late for my flight and if it's going to happen or not. And the same with my train. And when it comes to like, parties or whatever, I would just listen to, I don't know, watch a YouTube video for 20 minutes before I knock on the door, even if I arrive 20 minutes early. So I think that's always like easy to do something about.
No, but like imagine that like they're going to like toss away the trash and you're sitting on the stairs on your little phone with your little headphones watching your little YouTube video and you don't even realize that like, oh, they walked out, so they go out, they see you. They are like, haha, he's probably finishing the video, he's gonna come in, and then they get back after 5 minutes and you're still in your own bubble. That's kind of awkward.
I mean, that's a good thing and a good excuse having a podcast, right? I would be like, yeah, I was just creating some content, I would be up after. You always have to come with an excuse.
Lies.
Or also, at some point, if I'm always 20 minutes early, the people will just know and tell me to come like 20 minutes later, and that would kind of solve itself. While like Ryanair and anyone else wouldn't change their flights to accommodate me. But my friends would probably be like, yeah, for some reason, it's always exactly 20 minutes late. So we just change the time when I tell him to come.
Yeah, true. That's fair. Okay. Do you want to know the fun fact? I did a bungee jump.
Wow, tell us more.
Yeah, so basically me and my friend, we wanted to do like a bungee jump together. So we jumped together in Gdansk from like a crane that offers bungee jumps. When I think about it right now, I would not repeat it.
Yeah, I mean, it must have been like a spur of the moment then, if you usually don't like that things being like...
Yeah, I think I really wanted to do it, and then we went up, and she was really pumped, and I was just freaking out. Like when you see how high it is and everything, I don't know. But then they start counting, and it's like 3, 2, 1, and bungee, whatever, and you have to jump on the bungee, and I think that the moment, like I wasn't that scared before. When we decided to do it, when we paid the money, I got scared when we were standing down there, and you could see that the bungee jump line is a bunch of like this small rubber bands.
Yeah, but like when you finally are like strapped in, waiting position to jump down, do you really think that you have a kind of way back, or was it more like, I'm here now, I have to do it, I cannot really go down?
So the thing is, like, because me and my friend, we were jumping together, we had to hold each other.
Okay, I see.
So I didn't even consider jumping, but like when they said jump, she kind of jumped. So
Do you think that made it easier, or?
I think it made it easier because probably I would stroll around. And the fly itself is super fast because it's like a minute. It's such a weird feeling. It's how sometimes you have that dream that you're falling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that type of feeling that like you cannot do anything, and you can just see like you don't see that much because I don't know, everything is kind of blurry, but like you just go down really fast, and then it's such an adrenaline rush that when they strap you out after landing, you're kind of weak and soft on your legs. They usually give you like a candy bar or something because the sugar because of the adrenaline.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it looks extremely scary. But I think that's it for our first episode here, and hopefully you've stayed until now and heard us just blabbing on about anything and nothing, and we will be back in hopefully every 2 weeks. We are still new to this, so we will do our best to keep bi-weekly schedule going on, and you will be able to follow along. But we'll also, of course, notify you on like Instagram and or other channels so you know when a new episode is coming. Yeah, and feel free to join us next time for more random topics and to learn a little bit more about us.
Also, Nicholas, we should introduce them to our Instagram account that will post some stuff. Meanwhile, we will have some time to record. So hit the follow button on Instagram. It's the same name as our podcast name, which is Sip Away.
But it will, of course, also be linked below if you prefer that way. So, until next time, have fun and enjoy your summer.
Bye.
Bye.